What's going on, everyone? So, one of the teams that I think the Lakers should really look at as far as like pulling off a trade and trying to solve multiple needs in one trade, right? Because one of the things that I've talked about is it's easier to make just one big trade with one team than it is to make multiple trades with multiple teams, right? Because usually, if you're trying to make trades with three different teams, usually all three teams want one of your things, right? Like all three teams, guess what? Are going to want Dalton Connect. All three teams are going to want Osseries. All three teams are going to want, your first round pick, right? So you have to negotiate and you're hoping that one of these teams budge, right? Like where if you can find a team, right, you can usually kind of package stuff together and get a better deal, right? So if the Lakers could pull something like that, and I've talked about several teams already, but one of the teams that I want to talk about in particular is the Chicago Bulls, because one of the things that the Lakers need desperately is speed, athleticism, out on the perimeter, and particularly even at the guard position, which Chicago has an abundance of, right? Like Chicago's entire roster is essentially made up of those guys. And they're going to have to make some decisions at some point. They're going to have to start figuring out some guys, right? They're going to end up drafting a new guy, right? Like they're going to have to start paying guys and figuring things out, right? So you already hear that the Lakers are interested in Lonzo Ball. Did a whole video on Lonzo Ball, and the Lakers potentially looking to trade him. I love it. I'm like not against it at all. Definitely some concerns as far as like the injury history and stuff goes. But Lonzo Ball is now going into a 2-year, $10 million a year contract. 2 years, $20 million, right? So he is now cheap enough to where you could trade for him and get another piece. And again, Chicago has multiple pieces that can make sense, right? So we'll start off with, of course, Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball is exactly what this team needs slotted alongside Luka. Problem is, I don't know if I'd start him right away, right? Like the problem is last year was his first year returning after missing 2 years, right? He didn't even play half the season, right? Part of that was health, and they wanted to keep him healthy and kind of shut him down, let him get some work and reps. He's just getting in the swing of things. So if I was the Lakers with Lonzo Ball, I would look to slowly build him up. Right? Because, again, he is an athletic, defensive, versatile, self-creating, can knock down the three, can create for others, rebounds the ball well. I mean, you're talking about a guy that, pre-injury, right, was a guy that go get you, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 15 points, and, in limited minutes while also, knock down the three ball at 40%. Right? Like he was exactly what his team needed. Oh, and also defend the best player on the other team, and also, get 2 steals a game. And one of the things that he did do last year was show the defense. Shot was a little wonky, especially early on. He did start to kind of pick back up to it, but the defense was right there. I mean, he was averaging 2 steals a game, even in limited minutes, right? So something to kind of keep in mind. But Lonzo Ball would be fantastic. Then from there, I mean, you got guys like Io DeSumo, right, is somebody that I would love to have. Talking about a guy, 25 years old, 6'5", could play either guard spot, even play the 3 in some spots if you were going the kind of smaller units, only making $7 million. You could take Io and Lonzo combined, and they make less than Rui, right? So could you do like Rui for Io and Lonzo? Obviously, you'd have to give up assets, right? Or maybe you're throwing in a connect and working something out because, Chicago, maybe they take on that. So you're doing kind of like a 2-for-2 swap. But if you told me you could get Alonzo and Io, that solves like a good majority of the Lakers' needs, literally, right? And then on top of that, you still got to go get the center position solved. But those are 2 guys that are cheap enough to come in, play a role, immediately solve 2 major needs for you. Io, you could start right next to Luka. And I think makes a ton of sense as a guy to start right next to Luka. Gives you the point of attack, gives you the versatile defender. He can create for himself, he can create for others, and he can play off ball and knock down the 3 ball with some efficiency, right? Like he's the guy I've been trying to get and I've talked about for years now on the Lakers, right? But again, just look at the guards. And this is not counting what they might end up trading. Right, they got Lonzo Ball, Io, Josh Giddey, Taylor Horton Tucker, right? Trey Jones. That's just that. Jameer Young, forgot about him, right? And then Javion Carter. They have like 7, like half the roster is literally guards. Josh Giddey is a long-term guy. Kobe White can operate as your point guard, but he's probably more of the two. So Io at some point they're going to have to make a decision on, or a Kobe White. I would take Kobe White. I don't really know how I feel about him in your starting unit alongside Luka. I kind of feel like he's better defensively and more athletic than Reeves, but I still would have kind of that like redundancy issues, right? But as your 6th man would be beautiful, and he's making $12 million, right? So him and Lonzo combined would be making $22 million. So you could literally take Kobe White and Lonzo, put them together, and then do Rui and Dalton Connect. I mean, you'd have to, I think, throw in a Shake Milton, but Shake Milton's on a non-guaranteed, right? So boom, there you go. Right? So, you kind of go through the list. Like, I would be looking at Chicago to kind of solve my perimeter guard depth. Right? Like, this playoffs and really finals in particular showed the issue, right? Or showed what teams need. Speed out on the perimeter, that we're in a space and pace league, if you didn't already know that. Right? And you need those grit guys. OKC's not a big team. They're one of the smaller teams. Talk about a bunch of like 6'3" to 6'5" guards. Right? But they're just relentless. And they push the pace. And they keep going. Pacers, same thing. You got a bunch of like 6'3" to 6'5" guards. But they press full court, 48 minutes. They're conditioned. They push the pace. They like, you look at these two teams and it's like, okay, well, what's the commonality, right? Lakers are never going to be OKC. They're never going to be Indiana. They're just not. Because the Lakers, they have Luka, they have LeBron, and Austin Reeves. They're always going to be more half-court oriented, but that's fine. There's different paths to win an NBA championship. Every year it's different. If we were going off of what happened last year, then every team in the league needs to take 53s, and then there you go. But what happened? Boston tried to do that again this year, and it wasn't replicable. Right? It was just kind of a year. Right? Like, you see it all the time. Denver. People thought, like, oh, if you don't have a top 10 defense, you can't win a championship. Well, Denver proved that wrong. They're top 15, and they were the second worst defense in the postseason, and they ran through everybody. Right? So, again, there's multiple paths and directions that you can go to win an NBA championship. It's not just, as black and white as it seems at times, right? It is, hey, their path is not our path. But what are the commonalities? Athleticism, defense, out on the perimeter, and speed. Chicago's got an abundance of those guys. So, again, if I'm the Lakers, I'm looking at this playoffs. I'm looking at, just things that this team needs. It's like, we need shooting. We need athleticism. We need perimeter. I mean, for years I've been screaming, Lakers, just get athleticism. Just get athletes. I don't even care about the shooting and stuff right now. Right? Like, because you can win a lot of games just by out hustling, out working, and out playing teams. And you have a luxury that no other team has. You have LeBron James and Luka Doncic. Right? So them by themselves are going to be able to mask and make up for a lot that other teams aren't going to be able to. So to me, I look at the Lakers and I'm just like, go get that perimeter speed. Go get that perimeter help. All right. But beyond that, all right, again, you got Lonzo, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, Kevin Huerter, I wouldn't hate, right? But he's making 16, almost 17 million. Now you're getting a little pricey. Hey, Javion Carter, you could look, I think he has, if I'm not mistaken, I think he can be a free agent this year, but we'll see. Time will tell. Now you could look to like forwards, like wing depth, right? They got, Emmanuel Miller, who's kind of a bit of a question mark, but he's 24, 6'7", right? Versatile guy. You got, EJ Liddell, right? Again, guy, kind of a bit of a question mark, but these are all cheap guys. They could be add-ons, right? Like, that you could look to, hey, here's Shake Milton and Gabe Vincent, right? Or, here's Shake Milton and Rui Hachimura, and now you got to match $21 million salary, right? You got Jalen Smith, right? 6'9", versatile forward, 25 years old. He would be great. Dalen Terry, 22, 6'7" guy. Right? They have an abundance of guys. Patrick Williams, they've been trying to trade for years now, right? He's making $18.5 million. But I mean, talking to 6'8", he's still 23 years old, defensive forward. I'd be okay. Like if you flipped Rui for Patrick Williams, I would be okay with that. Again, talking about, I mean, they're same size, same height, right? Patrick Williams is more of a 4 than a 3, but he's much better defensively. Guys shut the ball. Chicago's a team that has an abundance, like for a team in the Lakers that need youth, athleticism, right? Just speed, all the things that the Lakers really need. Chicago's a team that absolutely can solve all that. And so, if you're the Lakers, if I wouldn't want to just go get Lonzo Ball, is my point, right? If you're going to call about Lonzo Ball and you're going to try to work out a trade for Lonzo Ball, try to get one of these other guys too, right? Can you go get, even if it is a Liddell or some of these guys, like again, Lakers, it's okay to take a flyer on a guy or two. But as always, this is a discussion, pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.